somewhere beneath a cracked termite mound in the African savanna, a family is still asleep, and one bird is about to ruin their morning on purpose. It has no alarm, no clock, no reason to care whether they wake up at all. And yet, every single day, at almost the exact same hour, it forces an entire family out of their den. Not with a call, not with a song, but by throwing dirt straight into their front door. This is not an accident. This is not annoyance. This is one of the strangest, most calculated survival partnerships in the entire animal kingdom. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why a bird would go through this much trouble just to babysit a family of mongooses it isn't even related to. Meet the southern yellow-billed hornbill, a bird with a bill almost as long as its patience is short. And meet the banded mongoose family it has quietly attached itself to, generation after generation. On cold mornings, the mongooses would rather do anything except leave their burrow. They curl together in a tight, warm knot underground, completely unwilling to face the chill of the open savanna. But the hornbill has other plans. It walks straight to the entrance of the mound and begins kicking and tossing dirt directly into the tunnel, again and again and again, until the sleepiest, most stubborn mongoose finally pokes its head out into the cold morning air, blinking, annoyed, defeated. And here is the strange part. Even after doing all that work, the hornbill still has to wait. Because mongooses do not simply wake up and walk out. They have rituals of their own. Before a single mongoose leaves for the day, the entire group grooms itself. They stretch, they sunbathe, they warm their small bodies in the first light. Only when some invisible signal passes through the group does the real morning begin. And then comes one of the strangest behaviors in the entire mongoose playbook, the handstand. One by one, mongooses raise their bodies as high as they possibly can, standing almost vertically, just to press a scent mark higher on a rock or tree trunk than any rival could reach. It's a small act with a big purpose. Convince any intruder that something far larger than a mongoose lives here. Their next tool is even more impressive. A sense of smell so refined it can detect prey buried completely out of sight beneath the soil. Scorpions, venomous spiders, large, dangerous insects that would kill most animals their size. Banded mongooses are almost fearless when it comes to venom, shrugging off stings and bites that would drop other predators in seconds. This is where the hornbill's patience finally pays off. As the mongooses fan out and start digging through the dirt in search of buried prey, the hornbill doesn't dig at all. It doesn't need to. It simply follows, waiting for the chaos the mongooses create. Every time a claw rips into the soil, beetles, lizards, and insects that were hiding underground are suddenly exposed. And the hornbill's long bill is there in an instant to snatch them up before they can escape. At first glance, this looks like simple theft, a freeloader stealing an easy meal. But it's far more calculated than that. The hornbill has essentially turned an entire family of mongooses into its own personal hunting crew, a mobile dinner table that moves across the savanna every single day. And the mongooses barely notice the loss. A few stolen insects mean nothing to them, because what the hornbill gives back in return is worth far more than food. While the mongooses are busy digging with their faces buried in dirt, they are blind to everything above them. And in the African savanna, danger rarely comes from the ground first. It comes from the sky. High above, a martial eagle begins to circle. Silent, patient, exactly the kind of predator that could end a mongoose's life in seconds. But the hornbill sees it long before the mongooses ever could. The moment danger is spotted, its calm calls turn sharp, rapid, urgent, and its wings beat hard against the air as a warning signal. The entire mongoose family freezes. Then, without hesitation, they sprint, not scattering in panic, but racing together toward the nearest termite mound, diving underground until the threat has passed. Only when the eagle finally disappears does the hornbill's tone soften again, calling the group back out, one by one, as if nothing happened. For the hornbill, sounding an alarm costs it almost nothing. For the mongoose family, that single warning can be the difference between life and death. The group returns to feeding, clustering around an active termite mound, sniffing, scratching, digging deep into the fresh insect supply hidden beneath. But moments later, the hornbill stops eating entirely. It flies to a high branch and stares out across the grassland. And another alarm rings out. The mongooses bolt for cover instantly. But this time, something is different. As a massive shape approaches through the grass, the alarm calls shift. The dominant mongoose recognizes the visitor, and the panic disappears completely. It's a warthog, and the mongooses aren't running from it. They're running toward it. What draws the mongooses in isn't the warthog itself. It's what's living on it. Warthogs roll constantly in mud to cool down and protect their skin from the harsh African sun. But once that mud dries, it cracks into folds, the perfect hiding spot for ticks to burrow in and feed for days at a time. For the warthog, this is a constant, itching burden. For the mongoose family, it's a walking buffet. Without hesitation, the mongooses climb straight onto the warthog's back, shoulders, and neck, carefully picking off tick after tick with sharp, precise bites. The warthog barely reacts. This exchange has happened enough times that it has learned to simply stand still and let it happen. 3 completely different animals. 3 completely different survival strategies. And yet, in this single encounter, all 3 walk away better off than before. This is not friendship. Nature rarely allows for something so sentimental. It's something colder, more practical, and in many ways more impressive. The mongooses stir the ground and expose prey the hornbill could never find on its own. The hornbill's constant watch over the sky catches danger long before the mongooses could ever sense it coming. And the warthog trades a few uncomfortable minutes of cleaning for real relief from parasites it has no other way of removing. None of them planned this. None of them agreed to it. It simply worked, and across countless generations, it kept working until it became instinct. As the sun drops low over the savannah, the foraging day ends the way it always does. Tomorrow, before the light even fully returns, the hornbill will be back at that same termite mound, tossing dirt into the same entrance, waking the same sleepy family all over again. Maybe that's the real lesson hiding inside this strange little morning ritual. Survival in the wild was never only about strength, speed, or sharp teeth. Sometimes it comes down to something far simpler, knowing exactly who to trust and when to rely on them. It's a lesson the African savannah has been quietly teaching for millions of years. And every single morning, this unlikely trio proves it's still true.